it's me again, Paula, and welcome to my new video. Today I want to talk about why I chose Dartmouth. So as some of you might know, I am a Dartmouth student. I am currently a sophomore, or as we say at Dartmouth, I'm a 20, which means I graduated in 2020. And I am currently on a study abroad in Paris, so this room right here is not my dorm room. I'm staying in a host family, and this is my room in my host family's home. I know a lot of you have been accepted as 22s, which is crazy for me to think about that. They're already 22s. Welcome Dartmouth 2022s. I'm so excited that you're gonna hopefully be joining the Dartmouth family. But anyways, I'm sure a lot of you are deciding right now whether you want to go to Dartmouth or maybe a different college. So I just want to give you my opinion on Dartmouth and tell you why I chose Dartmouth in the first place, and maybe also what I think about the things that I thought would be a certain way, what I think about them now, if that makes sense. So I made a list of things that I like about Dartmouth and two things I think it is that I'm not so happy with, but let's just get started. So the first reason why I originally decided to apply for Dartmouth was because I visited the campus and I really liked the campus, and I was like, I'm just gonna try. And then after I was accepted, I went to the Dimensions weekend. I did regular decision, by the way, so I was invited to the Dimensions. I think now everyone is invited to Dimensions, even the ED kids, because in my year only regular decision people were invited to Dimensions, but I think now everyone is invited. Anyways, I went to Dimensions, and that weekend was just so much fun. I unfortunately couldn't even stay the entire weekend because I had like a final, really important final on Monday or Tuesday, so I only stayed for one night, I think. But I went to the Dimensions show that was like Experience Dartmouth, and I just saw all those dance group and a cappella groups and all that, like all these different groups, and it was just so much fun, and everyone was just so nice and friendly and excited about Dartmouth that I was like, okay, this is amazing. And I'm sure a lot of you have already been to Dartmouth at this point to visit it or to go to Dimensions, but the campus is just so beautiful. That was just another reason why I picked Dartmouth. The campus is just gorgeous, especially in fall when all the leaves are turning and the fall foliage is just amazing. And yeah, the campus is just absolutely beautiful, and we're right next to a river. I did rowing in my fall term of sophomore year, and it's just so beautiful to be able to row on that river, especially with the fall foliage. As I mentioned, it's so amazing. And obviously just the nature around the campus is beautiful, and I love the green in the middle of campus. It's really fun in summer when you can sit on the green and do homework or just sit there with people and eat and picnic and all that stuff. So yeah, my two biggest reasons why I originally chose Dartmouth were the people, because everyone was just so nice to me during Dimensions and just so open to answer questions and talk about Dartmouth, and everyone was so excited about Dartmouth. And secondly, just the campus. When I went to Dimensions, it was just like, everyone here's so excited about Dartmouth. This is amazing. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I chose Dartmouth. But I think a lot of you will experience that too if you go to Dimensions. Definitely recommend going to Dimensions if you can. And for those of you who don't know what Dimensions is, it's basically this weekend where accepted students are invited to kind of experience what Dartmouth is like, so it's really fun. So my first three reasons were Dimensions, people, and the campus, and my fourth reason were the study abroad. Dartmouth is listed as one of the best colleges, if not number one, for study abroad, because their study abroad programs are just absolutely amazing. So last term, in my winter term, I went to LA. That was not a study abroad. That was called like a domestic study program with the film department. And right now I am in Paris with the French department. And the study abroads at Dartmouth, like you can go literally anywhere in the world. They have study abroads in South America, as I said, in like North America, in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, in New Zealand. It's just so amazing. And basically, how the study abroads work is that Dartmouth professors come with you to the countries and then teach you there. So you basically go with a group of Dartmouth students. In LA, I think we were 11, and right now in Paris, I think we're 8 people. The numbers kind of range. 8 people is like very little. Usually there are more people. But it's just so cool because the Dartmouth professors come with you, and well, first of all, you can build relationships with the Dartmouth professors, which is another point. Like Dartmouth professors, they're so open to talk with you about whatever you want, and I'm still a little like scared is a little bit of a strong word, but I still don't go to office hours enough with professors. Professors really do want you to come to office hours, and they really do want to help you, and they're so open to like talking with you. And there's also this really cool thing that's called Take Your Professor to Lunch at Dartmouth, where you can, each term you can pick a professor and you can invite that professor to lunch, and Dartmouth pays for it, and then you can go to Pine, which is like the really nice restaurant in town, and then you can just have lunch in the restaurant for free and talk with your professor. Anyways, that's another point. But it's just so cool that the Dartmouth professors come with you, because then you can build up relationships with that Dartmouth professor, and then when you go back to campus, the Dartmouth professor will also be there, and it's not like you go to a different country, build up a relationship, and then don't see the professor anymore. But basically the way it works here in Paris, I'm taking 4 classes, and one of those classes is taught by the director of the program, who is a Dartmouth professor, and the other 3 classes are taught by professors that are living in Paris and that are at colleges or universities here. But it's just really cool, and also the amazing thing about it is that it's so much easier to transfer credits and the grades and everything, because if you do study abroad at other colleges, and then you have to organize it yourself maybe, and then if you go to a different college they might have different grading system, and then it's kind of hard to transfer those like grades, or it's not clear how difficult that class is, so other colleges might not be sure if they can apply that credit to your like credits in that college. You know what I mean? It gets kind of difficult, and with Dartmouth it's really easy because Dartmouth teaches those classes and Dartmouth creates those classes. And also the other nice thing is, which gets me also to my next point as to why I chose Dartmouth, is the quarter system. So Dartmouth has this quarter system, which is basically that we have a fall term, a winter term, a spring term, and a summer term. So fall term is like September to Thanksgiving, like beginning of September to Thanksgiving. Then you get 6 weeks of winter break. Like, what? I don't think any other college has a winter break that's that long. It's amazing, because at Thanksgiving we're done and we just get to stay home from Thanksgiving until January. So you get the entire month of December off, which is so nice. And winter term is like beginning of January to middle of March. Then spring term, which I'm currently in, is like end of March until like beginning of June, and then summer term is like middle of June to end of August, and the terms are usually 10 weeks long. That can get a little difficult if you wanted to do study abroad at other colleges that you organize yourself, because most colleges are in a semester system, but with the quarter system, since Dartmouth makes the study abroad, it's really easy. And also the amazing thing is, with these quarter systems, since the terms are shorter, you get to go on more study abroads basically. Like, I'm going on 2 study abroads. Most of my friends at other colleges, they can either do like 1 study abroad or none. And I also know people who did 3 study abroads at Dartmouth. That's pushing it a lot, but it's possible, which I think is so amazing, because you get to experience like a different culture, you get to live in a different place. Like, it was so much fun to live in LA for 10 weeks, and Dartmouth like put us in these gorgeous apartments. Like, the apartments were mind-blowing. I uploaded a room tour a while ago. Like, we had a pool in the house, we had a hot tub in the house, we had a fitness center in the house. The apartments were brand new. It was just amazing. I'm like so excited about to start study abroad programs. I can make another video about that, because I can talk about that forever. But it's just really great with the quarter system, because it allows you to do more study abroad. And the other thing I like about the quarter system is that you only take 3 classes. Like at other colleges, when you have a semester, you might be taking 5 or 6 classes at the same time. And with the quarter system, you only take 3 classes, which at first you might be like, oh, but in high school, I took 7 classes at the same time, or at least I took 7 classes. And then the 3 classes might seem very little to you, but the thing is, since the terms at Dartmouth, the quarters are 10 weeks, and at other colleges the semesters are like half a year sometimes. That means that you get taught the same material that other colleges get taught in a semester. You get that taught in the 10 weeks. So the classes move a lot quicker than at other colleges, and it's kind of compressed. And I personally like that a lot, because you have 3 classes, so you really can focus on those 3 classes. And yes, it moves quicker, but you only have 3 classes to focus on. At other colleges, you might have 5 classes to focus on, and it still will move fairly quickly, I'm assuming. But you have to focus on more classes, and at Dartmouth you can really put your time and effort into those classes. Plus, for me it works really well, because I can put in a lot of work in a short amount of time, and with 10 weeks, like you can always count down the weeks. If it's like a semester, it's so much longer and it like kind of stretches out and you're like, oh my gosh, I still have to do so much work. And in the 10 weeks, it's kind of compressed. Like, you know what I'm trying to say here? For me, that works really well. I guess that kind of depends what kind of person you are, and for some, I feel like it might not work, but for me, it's really great because I like it when it moves quickly. I don't like it when it moves super slowly, so for me, the quarter system works out really, really well, and I really like it. It's kind of weird when you are in like week 2 or 3 and you already have midterms, and at other colleges the first 2 weeks are just like syllabus week where you don't do anything. So at Dartmouth it picks up right away, like week 1 you get started. But it's kind of nice because I feel like I don't waste any time. Like, you get started right away and you work the entire 10 weeks and then it's done. I think that's just kind of cool. But the other amazing thing with the quarter system is the D plan, which I'm sure a lot of you already know about. But if you don't know what that is the Dartmouth plan, the D plan. Basically, by the end of your senior year, you have to have been at Dartmouth for 12 terms. You can kind of decide which terms you want to be on and which you don't want to be on. The only terms you have to be on is in freshman year, you have to be on fall, spring, winter, and in your senior year, you have to be on in spring. Being on means you have to be on campus. Oh, and you have to be on in sophomore summer, which I'm super excited for. Sophomore summer is this thing that Dartmouth does, that is the summer after your sophomore year, and you're on during summer. So you're on campus in end of June until end of August, or mid-June until end of August, about that. And basically the thing about that is that only sophomores are on campus. Sometimes there are like some freshmen or some juniors, but it's mostly only sophomores on campus, and it means the campus really belongs to the sophomores. And I can make another video about that after my sophomore year because my next term is my sophomore summer. So I don't really know how it's going to be yet, but most people are like, this is the most amazing time of your life. So those are the only terms you need to really be on campus. Like your entire freshman year, sophomore summer, and senior spring, and everything else you can kind of decide for yourself. So for me, what I did, or what I'm planning on doing is that, or what I've been doing is that, yeah, I was on the freshman fall, freshman winter, freshman spring. I took off freshman summer, then I was on campus in sophomore fall, and then sophomore winter and sophomore spring, I'm doing the study abroads in LA and Paris. And the amazing thing about the study abroad is they still count as on terms, even though you are away. Since you're taking classes, they still count as on terms. Then I'm going to be on in sophomore summer, and then in junior fall. So that's like 5 terms in a row, which is really exhausting because I don't get the long summer break. But as I said, you do have a 6-week winter break, which is kind of nice. And then I want to be off in my junior winter, and I want to do an internship in my junior winter. And the cool thing about that is that there's going to be less competition because most people can't do an internship in winter. Most people are trying to find internships in summer. So there's less competition, you know what I mean? Then in my junior spring, I'm going to be on campus. Junior summer, I'm going to be off. And then senior year, I'm going to be on the entire year on Dartmouth campus. But it's just kind of cool that you can like pick for yourself when you want to be on, when you want to be off. The only sad thing about that is that sometimes you will not see people for a long time. Like, I had one girl who I made friends with in freshman year, and I haven't seen her since freshman spring. And that is the amazing thing about sophomore summer. Since we are going to be on in sophomore summer, I'm going to see her again. The only thing is sophomore summer is not mandatory for international students. I'm an international student, but you can still do it. It's a little tough with the visa. But that's another thing, like Dartmouth really helps you with the visa. They have a visa office, so if you're an international student, the visa office is really amazing. They help you so much. It's all so complicated, and without them I would be so lost. Like, I could not do it without them. So that's just really amazing. And then the last thing is why I chose Dartmouth, and that was something that I heard before, but now I know that it is actually that amazing, is the alumni network. So before I applied to Dartmouth, you know, you look through the brochures and everything, and you see that Dartmouth is supposed to have like the #1 alumni network, or one of the best alumni networks in America. And I was kind of like, yeah, cool, I don't really know what that means. But now that I was in LA, I really realized what this alumni network actually means. So first of all, the internship that I did in LA, I got through a Dartmouth alum because he works at a company and they needed an intern, and he heard that Dartmouth was doing the study abroad program in LA, and he was like, you know, a Dartmouth student, we could use a Dartmouth students. And that's how I kind of ended up getting that internship, through that connection. And then we also had this alumni event at in LA with Dartmouth alums that work in media and entertainment, or were just in LA at the time. It wasn't just media and entertainment alums. And that was at another event that was a Dartmouth entrepreneurial event with Dartmouth alums who presented their startup companies. And it was just so amazing because all those Dartmouth alums are so open to talk to you and are so open to help you. Like, they will give you their business card, and you can afterwards email them, and they're just so nice and open and friendly. And it's just amazing, and it's so much fun to talk to them about how Dartmouth was when they were there and how it's now, and that's just a lot of fun for me. And yeah, the Dartmouth Alumni Network is just amazing, and I think it's also really going to help me in the future, and I'm excited to be a Dartmouth alum, and then maybe if I work at a company, I would love to give other Dartmouth students internships or jobs. I think it's because Dartmouth alums know that Dartmouth is a really good school, it's a really tough school, so they know that if someone like makes it through Dartmouth or makes it to Dartmouth, that they're smart and that they're a hard worker. So if they say, I want someone from Dartmouth, they know that there are certain attributes that those people will fulfill, and I think that's just really amazing. And the Dartmouth Alumni Network is actually so great, and Dartmouth alums are so much fun. It's amazing. Another thing about Dartmouth is the Greek life. So as some of you might know, I think if you look at the stats online, it says like 50% of Dartmouth students are in Greek life, but that's only because freshmen aren't allowed to be in Greek life yet. You can only join in sophomore's year. Then I think 70 or 80% of the eligible students at Dartmouth are in Greek life. And that was something I just didn't consider at all. I was like, okay, cool, there's Greek life. I don't really know what to think about that. Now I joined a sorority, and I can't say too much about it yet because I joined in fall, and now I've been studying abroad for 2 terms. But I'm gonna be back in summer, and I'm gonna live in a house in fall. I don't know if I'm gonna live in a house in summer yet. I really hope I can. And I'm also gonna hold a position in the summer in the house. So I'm really excited to be more involved in Greek life and see how that works out. I can do another video about my opinion on Greek life once I've kind of experienced it more, but that's just another thing to consider. That it is very prevalent. If you don't want to be involved in it, you don't have to be, but it is another thing. Like, if you are really into Greek life, that's really cool. But I also think Greek life at Dartmouth is different than at other colleges. You will really see that once you get to Dartmouth. It is not what I imagined it to be. Like, it's not that really stereotypical sorority girl and frat boy thingy that I imagined it to be, so it's kind of different from that. But it is prevalent, and for me it just wasn't a factor in my decision. At this moment in time, I would say it just adds to the Dartmouth community and the Dartmouth life. It's just really cool to be in a sorority and just to have people I can ask questions and that I can rely on. And I am still in the group me, it's like a group chat, with the other sorority girls from my sorority. And if I have a question, I can just ask that question in the group me, and someone will answer my question, and that's just really cool to have that support. It's just something to know about Dartmouth, that Greek life exists. And then 2 negative aspects about Dartmouth. Negative is a strong word, but 2 aspects I did not consider enough when I chose Dartmouth, and that is the location and the weather. For me, I don't know, when I was picking colleges, I didn't really think about those 2 factors. I more looked at, like, do I like the people there? Do I think I will be happy there? Do I think I like the classes there and all that stuff? But it is important to know that Dartmouth is in the middle of nowhere. We have Hanover, which is like this cute little town with a few restaurants and like very little shops. And I lived in Manhattan before that, so coming from Manhattan to Dartmouth was definitely a shock. It is it's very difficult to get anywhere away from Dartmouth campus if you don't have a car. There are buses running every single day, 2 times or 3 times a day, from Dartmouth to Boston and to New York, which is really great. So it is possible to get away from campus, but it's just like, it's different than living in Manhattan. And for me personally, I really do miss living in a city. But I mean, Dartmouth campus is, as I said, so beautiful, and they do put up a lot of events at Dartmouth. But it's just something to consider, and I want to be honest with you, and for me, like, it's so different living at Dartmouth than living in a city. It is very, very different. I am gonna say that one positive aspect is that I now realized after living in LA and Paris, so 2 big cities, a positive aspect of not living in a city is that you don't have as many distractions, so it's so much easier to focus on your work at Dartmouth. But there are still tons of events that are being put up at Dartmouth, and they bring in so many cool people and concerts and movies and speakers and blah blah blah, so they do put up a lot of stuff, but it is just something to think about and just to know that it is in the middle of nowhere. But the nature is beautiful, so if you love hiking and all that stuff, that is really great. I am not the most outdoorsy person, I will say. I do like the outdoors, but I also know other people who are not outdoorsy at all. So you can find both at Dartmouth, but it is just something to consider. And the other thing is the weather. As I said, I've lived in New York for all of high school, and I was like, oh, the winters in Dartmouth aren't going to be much worse than in Manhattan. It's like not that far away. Wrong. The winters at Dartmouth are freaking long and freaking cold. They start in November, mid-November. It will start snowing a bit. Not that much, but then the entire winter term you will get tons and tons of snow, which is amazing for skiing and snowboarding and cross-country skiing and ice skating, all that stuff, of course. But it gets to negative 20 degrees Celsius sometimes, which is, I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit. I still don't do Fahrenheit. I think that is like -5, -10 Fahrenheit or something like that. But it gets really, really, really cold, and you will figure out how to not leave the house or the dorm or the classrooms or the library or the dining hall that often because you just don't want to go outside because it's cold. And the winter does keep going until April. Like, in April, it will still be snowing sometimes. So that is just something to consider. But as I said, with the D plan, it is easy to get away from campus for winter. The only winter you have to be on is your freshman winter. And I do think it's cool to experience one winter on campus. For me personally, I chose to go to LA on purpose in winter. Also, the LA program is only offered in winter. But that was perfect because I got like 25-degree weather, which is like, what, 70, 80 degrees in Fahrenheit in winter, which was amazing. Like, I was swimming in the ocean while other people at Dartmouth were suffering through the cold. And then in my junior year, I'm gonna be doing an internship somewhere else, not at Dartmouth. And then in my senior year, I'm gonna be on for winter again. So it is just something to consider that the winters do get very cold. But it also makes for some great bonding. I know a bunch of people who said that sophomore winter has been their favorite term on campus because they just get to really bond with other people. But yeah, those were my reasons why I chose Dartmouth, and I think I talked for a long time now. If you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna put this video in my college playlist, so please check out my other videos about Dartmouth. I would love to see you on my other videos, see your comments. I'm so excited for you to come to Dartmouth if you choose Dartmouth. I really hope you do because it is really such a special place, and I am just very, very grateful to be part of Dartmouth. I really hope I'll see you again on my channel, and yeah, see you soon.